For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. So guys, a bit of a review video on a brand new product from Dometic. So this here is the Dometic Rarotonga 601. So in many ways, Dometic as a term, as a brand, have been around for a while, mostly known for their sort of fridges and, well, for taking over camper in many ways as well. So this is kind of, what they've kind of done is they've sort of split the camper Dometic brands up. So you've got kind of, Dometic is kind of their high end with every single feature they possibly have to offer. And then the camper brand is basically more stuff that's price orientated. So what they've done is they've tried to create a product range that's completely different, different in terms of designs, as you can obviously see, but then spec that can't be competed with on the market, which I can understand. So they want to be almost the creme de la creme, the Rolls Royce of kind of, you know, tent world if they wanted to. And you kind of do see that in terms of designs, but the level of detail they've gone to with each individual feature in a tent. So this sits in kind of the middle range collections above. So you've got the Ascension, then this is obviously the Rarotonga, and then you've got the Bora K, which sits beneath it. So this size is available in a 6-man and also a 4-man. And we've done a separate video for the 4-person, which you can see as well. Not to mention there's also a polyester version, which I've got with me now, and a polycotton. So you pick and choose your size, pick and choose your fabric. Simple as that. It's based almost very loosely on kind of the Hailing 6 of many years ago, just being a bit more generous in terms of size, but also in terms of the spec which we're going to go to. So we're looking at sort of a 150D, 6,000mm high shredded head sort of tent, so it's very waterproof, very, very durable, and pretty much going to sit at sort of more the topper end of the market when we're looking at inflatable tents. So this whole kind of new design is sort of almost like a kind of safari tent-esque, and one of the maybe criticisms in the past was kind of when it was camper Dometic was the fact that the sides sloped in quite a bit, and obviously from this you can see that's really not the case anymore. This real sort of boxy side gives you almost a maximum amount of internal sort of, well, living room space, if you will. You've got this kind of open design, so you've got an open kind of front, and then into your sort of sleeping area at the back, and then living area in the middle. So you've got that sort of free zones throughout the tent. You have got a zip located on the front here, so you can actually buy an additional kind of vestibule to enclose the front up, or a canopy to make it bigger, or a mesh vestibule. And again, you can have it sort of mesh vestibule, or you can go canopy, vestibule, mesh vestibule, whatever you want to do. So you kind of pick and choose how big you want it to be, which also helps to keep the pack size a bit lighter as well, because you've not got one big tent in one big bundle. So you can, you know, again, depends what the weather's doing. If it's a nice day like that today, open it all up, have that circulation of air. You've got a bit of shelter from the wind and rain, but you can close it as and when you feel you need to. Obviously, you can see you've got these really nice strong webbing straps throughout the tent everywhere. So you've got these reflective guidelines as well, so it pops when you've got a torch. And again, not only got it front and also back, but out the side, and you've got kind of their kind of 1-point pegging system. So you've sort of pegged 1 point there, it pegs the base and does the guy up on in the same point. So a little bit quicker to put up. It's air, so obviously it's quick and easy to pitch. I've pitched this model on my own the best part of sort of 10 minutes, pegged out, guide out, pumped up the works. And you can see that from our own kind of Attwoolls pitching and packing videos on these particular models. Again, you've got a Boston valve kind of thing, and because the kind of shape of it, actually you're working with a slightly firmer pressure, so you're looking around about sort of 9 to 10 psi with this. So again, a bit more rigid, and they even supply a much better pump as well for this particular model, because it needs that extra pressure just to keep it, you know, up to, well, to get it sort of maximum strength. Plus, again, going back to the thing of not sort of sculpting out of small little areas, you know, and giving you everything you might need, a better pump to start off with, better pegs as well, and again, things like high visibility pegging point straps. So again, you've got the orange straps you peg first, so the main 4 corners, pump it up and away you go, and it's things like that that kind of add to make this big difference. Also from a design point of view, you've got this really nice kind of call it like a trim around the windows. I think that helps to sort of lift it and make it a bit more premium. Admittedly, I think the colour can be a little bit hit and miss. When I first saw the product, I thought, oh good God, what was that? But the more and more I'm sort of around it, and also with depending on the light, it does sort of change, and that's grown on me a lot. And to be fair, I do quite like it now. It's something a bit different. It's not grey, which we've seen from other brands. It's definitely sort of a standout tent on there, and I think that's the same with kind of the design we've got inside of here. You've got sort of obviously loads of different features, things like mesh panels above the windows, so you've got nice mesh above the window and below the window to help with circulation of air, to certainly help fight condensation. And you can also see how much condensation we've got in the windows right now, first thing in the morning. You know, having that air circulation, even on a hot day, makes a big difference. There is that sort of talk between Polycotton and Polyester, and it really comes down to where you're going to go. Polyester is going to be perfectly fine for most of the UK market. If you want something a bit more comfortable going abroad, then Polycotton is definitely looking at, but then your price point does jump up. You've obviously got a side door located here as well, and even, it means you've then got access happily in and out. Towards the back, you've actually got a rear storage section as well, which was quite unique. And we will do a sort of a 360 little tour around the tent once we've gone inside afterwards. The storage section really is kind of made away by an aluminium pole at the back, and it kind of almost feels like those kind of old-fashioned, I would say it's almost like ridge tents in a way. It has that kind of frame tent kind of feel to it. And back in the day, they were the ultimate of ultimate, really. So that works really well. A really nice sort of big open canopy again. And you can see, the depth in there is quite adequate. You have a cooking unit in here quite happily, and you sort of feed yourself into your main part of the living area. But let's talk more about kind of the Rarotonga on the inside and see what it has to offer. So now inside the Rarotonga, you kind of get more of an idea for the space you've got inside of it. And like I said, we'll sort of start from tent and work our way back. So the canopy, like we saw on the outside, you've got a decent amount of depth to it as well. The fact that you've got a ground sheet that you can buy when you buy the footprint comes in front for the front area works really nicely. So if you wanted that kind of open area or sealed area, then again, the footprint you can do and get that almost completely enclosed in many ways with the additional vestibule. For me, I think I see this as more of an open area, sort of sheltered area where you could put sort of your shoes, your coats, that sort of stuff. So you just declutter and leave the mess out there that's mucky and muddy into your lovely clean sort of kind of carpeted section, which is more homely in many ways. The door panel into the main body sort of lips up and lips down, so you get that flexibility. You haven't got a trip hazard in and out of the front of it, but you also get the security when you need to, and it velcro to the bottom part. And like I said, it's the fine details in kind of this new Dometic range that really make a difference. So, for example, every single external door has a mesh door to it as well, so you've got a full door and a mesh door, and even the full door has got curtains built into it. Small things like all the zip pullers as well have these really nice sort of oversized sort of toggle points, so you can actually get a good grasp on it whether you've got gloves on or not, and just pull it along and sort it out. Again, small little details like the ties itself, you've suddenly not got a little bit of extra elastic to try and loop around there. You've got a physical webbing strap straight into a normal sort of buckle, and then doesn't matter how brilliant you are packing it away, you can tense that away and it makes it life an awful lot easier. And it's the same, you've got a separate one for the front door to the one with the mesh door. And again, that mesh door, you can also get the ultimate about first line defense against kind of the bugs. So what you find is that when you're sort of, again, in here at night and you've got a light on, having that mesh door at the front, that's brilliant. You've got the canopy, so you're not going to get water coming in, but you've got, an airflow running out and not having all the bugs joining the car party. Like I said, that then velcros to that lip that comes up, so it feels, integral and a very first line against the sort of the barrier. One thing, obviously, from a design point of view, you've got obviously a good amount of height in here. I mean, admittedly, when you sort of look at this, it's going to be 440 wide. There is a model that sits above this, which is called the Ascension, which is about 460 wide. The height on the Ascension definitely is a bit bigger. I mean, I'm about 6'2", so in the middle here, it's not a problem. When I get to the corners, I can just about stand up. It's a little bit lower, but I can just about stand up. And admittedly, I'm well above probably what average height is. So for mass majority of people, it won't really be an issue. But that's where I think, for size point of view, the Ascension, in terms of being an ultimate sort of 6-person tent, probably you've got a little bit more height, a little bit more width. It kind of works a little better. But this is a bit more smaller scale, and the fact that the bedroom scenario is a little bit different in this model is kind of why it's a bit more unique. So at the bedroom side of things here, we've got, rather than having 3 bedrooms, you've got 2 bedrooms that are oversized. So ideally, you could see this being, almost say you've got a family of 4 and you want a very generous tent, and I mean very generous. You're talking about 210 per each bedroom. So you put almost 2 camp beds in there, have a middle in the middle, or a double camp bed and have a storage little unit in there with you. So again, it's that very more luxury feel. And in terms of price point wise, it comes out a little bit more competitive when you compare it to its kind of big brother in its model. The whole bedroom section again is designed to be sort of high end, because that's what it really is. So you've got your key features like your sort of storage pockets built in the front to kind of declutter the main body of the tent. You've also got things like this little baffle unit, which really well, so it feels a part of the tent, and again that sort of kind of safari-esque lodge kind of feel to it. But it's the details that make the difference. Like I said, you've got a deeper kind of bedroom, so it's about 2.2 meters deep, and you've got this unique little rear storage section. So in theory, if you want to, you can almost, if you want to go for a bigger, sort of longer camp bed, you can just take that back sort of divisional door out, have your feet poking through there, and it works really well. You've got your sleep tight inners as well, and also it helps to make it feel a lot darker in here when you're all zipped up, but you've still got a bit of sort of lightness to allow a little bit of lighting, so it's not overly dark. And as you can see here, we've got this full frontal mesh panel built into it as well, so you can actually get the airflow into the actual tent on those warmer days. At the back, like I said, you've got a whole massive storage area, and it goes the whole width of the actual tent. So I can fit out here, and you've got a sort of depth. So in theory, you could actually have like a little storage unit down here, or you can have your bags. So things like tent bags and things like that, I would chuck at the back here, suitcases, and it really helps to maximise your sort of main kind of living area. Also, like I said, we've got the ventilation at the point at the back. We will bring the camera in a second and give a bit more like a 360 just to kind of get more of a feel for it. But like I said, it's the things like you've got the level of spec you've got here. So for example, we've got mesh parts on all the blinds, so you can get airflow coming in the tent as well as out. But then the fact you can sort of, open and close from the inside is a bit of a bonus as well. You've also got zip-up curtains, and again, with every zip-up curtain, you've got, rather than having a little toggle to keep it sewn, you've got little poppers, make life a lot easier, which you can zip everything up, get the full amount of coverage and ultimate amount of privacy. But when you want to just kind of bring it down, show you allow the vent to open or just that part to open. And what is also different as well is you actually got a physical pocket. It's not just the case of you're relying on kind of the toggle point and the zip to hold it in place. You can literally quite happily roll it and shove it in there, and then the popper will just go on like so. It keeps it all secure and out of the way. Like I said, low level ventilation, which we saw on the outside, is going to help the circulation of air. And because you've got essentially window, door, you've got loads of mesh points, loads of circulation, and actually from here, from a visibility point of view, loads of room as well. Hanging point for lantern is located here, and it's not just a little, a little hook or a little bit of Velcro to hang a lantern. You've got a physical sort of metal carabiner. Again, it's the fine details that make this tent what it really is. So you've got also the carabiner clip. You've then got, again, poppers to take the cable points down to cable entry points at either side. And the joys of this really bit is they've not really skimped on anything, and if anything, going above and beyond it. So every single beam has got a carabiner, and then popper points going down either side, just make a difference which way you go. You've got, say, 3 cable entry points, one on the left, one on the right, and one in the front corner, again, just to kind of give every single option you think you didn't really need. Mesh points at the top as well, again, to help that circulation of air. But let's pick the camera up now and a little bit of a walk through the model, just to get a bit more of a feel for it. So as we come in, you can kind of, first of all, you probably get a bit more idea about the depth of the canopy. Like I said, you can, as we've talked about, you can enclose that up if you really wanted to. Those kind of crystal clear windows comes inside, but the size of the actual kind of internal size is quite nice as well. There is a smaller size which we've done a separate video on, the 401, to get a bit more of an idea from, but so that visibility side of things, you can also get a great look around the campsite, but the privacy when you wanted to, and the fact you've got a mesh door on that side door located there, it suddenly means you've got more flexibility. You haven't got one door to go in and out of the whole time. Mesh points on the front, and then obviously that little kind of power sort of thing. So when you sort of sit back a little bit, this is a very, very first sample. It's going to look a bit more like this side, I suppose. But it just seems a bit seamless. And once we go into the bedroom, you've still got things like much darker inners, storage pockets located down the back, and then that kind of whole back section as well. So then you can open it and close that as you feel free. And if you want to sort of leave it out of the way and out of sight, out of mind, or access it at a need be. Little wardrobe hole can also go in here as well, so you can hang sort of coats or things like that in here, or a towel or whatnot. But if we go to that back storage section, it gives you an idea about how it's. We've got both of them open at the moment. So you can sort of really sort of feel a bit more for the tent itself. You can actually quite stand up in here if you really want to. But you've got these ventilation points out here. So if we came sort of through into the back section, you get the kids. I can see the kids now crawling in from one section to another. And again, you can see through the mesh through to the other side. And you've got a zip divisional part between. So like I said, these bedrooms are very, very generous to say the least. So you've got, I said, easily 3 people can sit in here quite very comfortably. So if you want to use it for, say a free and a free, you could easily do so. Personally, I feel it'd be very much like a massively oversized 2-person per each side. But like I said, you've got the ability to sleep free. You know, most other brands will do a 440 width, and it will be 6 people sleeping very, very happily. So, and again, we'll talk about details. Carabiner clips on every single beam, and you've also got a Velcro point built onto it as well. So if you want to use Camper's own Flexi Saber lights, that also works a treat, because you can then have lighting on every single beam, including the one kind of in the canopy section here. So this beam has also got that point onto it, and then you've got that zip located there as well. Again, things like even on the inflation points, you've got kind of poppers to keep it all neat and tidy. So it gives you the flexibility that you can actually, you know, access it and get it looking smart rather than a bit of excess fabric looking like it is. And on the side here you can see, again, great windows and that sort of whole kind of back storage area. And when you look at it from the back, it almost reminds me of kind of the old-fashioned kind of ridge tents in many ways, the little poles or a bell tent where you've got these little sort of kind of stirrup sides, and that's what creates that extra bit of storage area at the back and a bit more height at the back as well as that low-level ventilation. But you can see the sheer amount of webbing straps on the back as well, just to give it the additional support it needs, not only across the top with that big ventilation panel, but down the bottom here as well. One other thing to point is you've got a little orange tab, and that's basically your folding guide. So you fold the back edge into that orange tab, and that gives you a perfect width to fit into its own bag. Personally, I don't really fold tents that way. As you've seen from our own kind of pitching and packing videos, it's not really how we do it, but it's kind of how Camper/Dometic do it. So that's what they've kind of done in many ways. But again, unique feature to kind of give you a bit more of a guide if you choose to do it that way. So I think overall, I think it's a really smart model. Admittedly, price point wise, it's because you've got all these, you know, hundreds of features, it's not necessarily cheap, but you do pay for what you get for the different design. You see how vertical that side is. It's pretty much bang straight. So it means you can put furniture right up to the very edge. If you want more information on sort of kind of anything about this model or the optional extras, the sizing, the pricing, the bundles we have going, you know, the weight, for example, you can see the link below, take you directly through to our website. We've got all the information there, as well as our current, like I said, sale prices and, well, anything else you need. But by all means, let us know what you think of the product as well, whether you think it's good, bad, you know, too generous, too big. Beams are, well, to be fair, you've got oversized beams in here as well to help with kind of that whole sort of bracing. And again, it's been wind tested up to, you know, the same sort of specifications that we have with any other tent. So it's just as strong as any other tents, just with slightly different design. So yeah, positive, something very different, which is quite refreshing in the camping industry. We don't tend to have too many radical changes like this going from year to year to year. So it's something different. Again, it's its own kind of niche market, I think, in many ways, that it's kind of a high-end polyester tent. So people who, you know, want, like I said, every little feature under the sun, quite literally, you've got that, and that's why it offers something a little bit different. It's definitely more of a premium product, and not going to be for everyone, which is understandable. But overall, really nice, really quirky. Space-wise, works well. It's just obviously whether everyone wants to pay the price for all those features, whether there's a real kind of, I don't know, a real kind of mass market. Everyone wants everything, little details, and make the differences the warrant it. So that's always sort of thing about this. It is one we probably have on our indoor display showroom, so you can always come and check it and see it in the flesh, or some form of it at least anyway. So that way you can go and get a bit of an idea of why, you know, all the details, why they add up to be obviously the price that it is. But different, love it. Something different as well. And like I said, check out our own videos we've got about packing it and pitching it, as well as any more information you need. But let us know what you think in the comments box below. We're always very happy to see what you feel or what you think, or any models or main sort of changes they can take into the range. So, but yeah, that's kind of our little video review on the Rarotonga in the 601 size, and then we've got a separate one for 604. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.